Okay, so we had a pretty good question in the forums today around controlling animation with a button. So the user wanted to specify how to target an object and have it play when a button is clicked. So really kind of in the middle of the timeline at some point, target an object and then set it up to play. Pretty simple to do, although it does require a couple extra steps. So the user was obviously a Flash designer and had some experience where you could set up little keyframes in somewhere in the middle of the timeline and jump to that place or target an animation that way. So we don't necessarily have that in Storyline, but we do have some options for really achieving a similar effect, and it involves a slide layer. So in this first, if you look down here in the slide layers, you see this first base layer. I just have this object, truck one, right? It's just my truck, and I don't even have an animation set to this one. Where the animation occurs is actually on the slide layer. I called it fade out. So what I have here, you can see down here in the timeline, I have two trucks. I have truck one and truck two. So obviously truck one is really the truck from the base layer that's going to animate off the slide. And if I select it, come up here to animation, you can see that I have a fly out animation. So it's going to fly out when this timeline begins, and you can see it lasts for about maybe 3/4 of a second. Directly on top of it is another truck, and that is actually going to fly in. So if you look at the animation on this one, it flies in and it comes in right as the truck one is going off the slide. So that's kind of how we do it. So when this slide layer plays, right, this truck two is really going to fly in from the left, and this one's going off to the right. And that's how we get that kind of that controlled effect with the two with the button. Now, obviously the key here is to make sure that everything is in the same place from the base layer. Now, one little trick here that we can do in Storyline that's really great is, in order to create that effect that number two is coming in and one's going off, I would normally see that truck one on the base layer. Check this out, I turned it off, because there's really the truck one. You can see it's kind of grayed out, showing me that it's on the base layer, it's unavailable to me here, but that object is there. So when this slide layer opens up, I actually have this turned off, so it immediately disappears when the slide layer is loaded, and then this truck one will zoom off the slide, and the next one comes in. So kind of a fun way, kind of an easy way to achieve that that trigger on a button that actually plays an animation. So we're just really loading the animation that's on the slide layer above this base layer.